Right friends, welcome back to English comprehension and vocabulary discussion. Today is session 46. Two things from April 1st onwards. Monday we will discuss some aspects how to understand English. I do not call it as grammar because my viewpoint is entirely different. How to understand various situations under various circumstances. I would like to devise my lecture every Monday on those lines. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be comprehension and ability discussion. Friday you will have current affairs banking awareness discussion, because after 30 modules here I would like to deliver every week important aspects pertaining to banking awareness, that is current affairs in banking awareness, that will be taught on every Friday at the designated time. And another change from next week is this discussion will go on from 12:30 hours. Next week onwards, 11 o'clock news for a while discussion will be there, 11:30 editorial discussion, 12:30 it will be comprehension and vocabulary discussion from next Monday onwards. So, Monday you will have some concepts how to understand English. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be comprehension discussion, Friday will be banking awareness current affairs, and some students are asking about taking some difficult articles from this Harvard Business Review or the Economist. In fact, we are going to take once we cross 50, today is 46th session, once we cross 50, then we will take half of the articles from the Harvard Business Review as well as Economist, and half will be from our daily newspapers like Economic Times, Business Line, The Hindu. So, we would like to maintain that balance, because the current articles of our newspapers, that means Indian newspapers, will put you lot of insight, will give lot of insight with regard to various contemporary issues in economy and banking, right. And here today's discussion is good idea, bad plan. And on Tuesday we are going to deliberate on 4th April, that is Tuesday, and this is going to be about the GST, various intricacies in GST. Now, this good idea, bad plan, this is with regard to fertilizer subsidy. Before going ahead, let us look at this news item. Some time ago, government in fact decided to roll out direct benefit transfer for fertilizer subsidy. All of you are well aware about direct benefit transfer for LPG. At present, direct benefit transfer is given for LPG, and this is known as PEHL, please do not forget, and it entered into Guinness Book of Records. So, all of you are clear about it, and now government wants to implement direct benefit transfer for fertilizer subsidy from June 30, 2017 across the country. This was the news item some time ago, and the subsidy will be given at the producer's end after capturing the Aadhaar number through the point of sale machine of the farmer. When the farmer is purchasing a fertilizer, that means when the farmer is purchasing a bag of fertilizer, then his Aadhaar number will be captured, that means his biometrics will be captured through point of sale machine, and the difference between the actual value and the subsidized price of fertilizer will be transferred to the producer's bank account. So, there is a difference between this LPG DBT and this fertilizer subsidy DBT. LPG DBT, what we are doing now? We are paying the entire market price. Suppose the cost of the cylinder is 900 rupees, we are paying entirely, and subsequently the subsidy amount will be given into the directly the bank accounts of the customers. So, this is LPG DBT, but for the fertilizers the planning is something different. Here for the fertilizers, farmer will pay the reduced cost or subsidized price, and through biometrics the subsidy amount will be transferred to the fertilizer manufacturers. And second important point is there is no limit on the farmer's purchase. Farmer can purchase, there is no limit at all. So, it is a prone, that means it may lead to several issues. That is why this article of Financial Express says that for fertilizers also exactly follow the similar pattern which we employ for LPG, right. So, this is the essence of this article. Good idea, bad plan. Idea is good, but the planning is bad. So, here if you go ahead, DBT, direct benefit transfer for fertilizers, has to be similar to that for LPG. In LPG, if I am the customer, I will pay the market price. Subsequently, the subsidy amount will be paid by the government into my bank account. But the planning for fertilizer is something different. The case of fertilizer is something different. Here, farmer will pay the subsidized amount. That means, if the cost of the fertilizer, actual cost is 500 rupees, 500 will be paid by the farmer, and additional, if any subsidy, that 400, 500, further subsidy amount will be paid to the manufacturer of the fertilizer. So, both are entirely different. Unless you understand the difference, you cannot follow this article. So, here the DBT for fertilizers has to be similar to that on LPG. This article do not have many difficult words, but please understand the essence which goes on in this passage. The fact that, as this newspaper reported on Wednesday, the fact is that the government has been able to start, various pilot projects. That means, government is starting these pilot projects, has been able to start. Government started these projects in recent times, and it is going on, it is starting one after the other. That is why it is used, government has been able to start various pilot projects on direct benefit transfer, and it is giving additional information. It has been done in 11 districts already, 11 districts completed already, and government has been able to start various pilot projects. What is pilot project? Pilot project is the activity planned as a test or a trial. The activity planned as a test or trial. The union government is implementing direct benefit transfer for kerosene as a pilot project in some districts of the country. So, pilot project means whatever the activity we are planning as a test or trial is known as pilot project, right. So, here what is required for implementing DBT for fertilizers? This is POS machine. POS machine is required, and subsequently farmers biometrics is required. Biometrics, it will be captured by the reader. So, here biometric sensing instrument is required, and through that instrument farmers biometrics will be captured, and subsequently the subsidy amount will go to the fertilizer manufacturer. That is the main problem. Then second important aspect is there is no limit on the quantity of fertilizer which can be purchased by the farmer. So, these two are the drawbacks. That is why the article says please ensure what is being implemented for LPG, right. If you go back to the passage, on pilot basis, government, it has already done this in 11 districts. It is a big positive step and suggests that over the next 6-12 months, it should be possible to cover the entire country. In the next 6 to 12 months, it should be possible to cover the entire country. Please read carefully the fact that, as this newspaper reported on Wednesday, the government has been able to start various pilot projects. Government already started various pilot projects, and in fact, It has been done in 11 districts already, and over the next 6 to 12 months it should be possible. It is talking about possibility to cover the entire country, because it is the reason also is being explained here, with 77% of point of sale outlets, with the 77% of POS terminals already equipped with Aadhaar reading scanners. Already at 77% of POS terminals, Aadhaar sensing scanners are there. So, it may take even less time also, right. So, it should be possible to cover the entire country, because necessary infrastructure like POS terminals, at the same time Aadhaar reading scanners are available. So, it is telling with the reason also, because POS terminals, Aadhaar sensing scanners are available. The problem is that he is talking about problem, DBT for subsidized fertilizer project is loosely conceived. Conceived, there are two meanings of conceived. One is to become pregnant, second one is to devise a plan or idea. In this particular case, this was poorly conceived, poorly planned, right. So, I gave one example for conceived. Bahubali was conceived by S.S. Rajamouli, for which he got worldwide acclaim. Conceived means to invent a plan or an idea. So, here this is poorly, loosely conceived and is unlikely to achieve its objectives. Its desired objectives, it is unlikely to achieve. What is the objective? He is giving in continuation. The objectives are reducing leakages of subsidies. One of the objective is reducing the leakages of subsidies and encouraging the industry to grow. Industry must grow. Here the point to note is the objectives. In fact, the objectives he is mentioning, one is reducing the leakages of subsidies, second objective is encouraging the industry to grow, third one is empowering farmers. Farmers must be empowered. Empower means, in fact, process of giving people or organization more rights or more legal power. Under those circumstances, empowerment is used. So, here the main purpose here is reducing leakages of subsidies, encouraging the industry to grow and empowering farmers. What makes this a bigger pity? Before going ahead, please understand, the article started with, it is unlikely to achieve its objectives. It is not likely to achieve its objectives. What are the objectives? Three objectives: reducing leakages of subsidies, encouraging the fertilizer industry to grow, third one is empowering the farmers. These three are not going to meet. What makes this a bigger pity? The bigger problem he is talking about is that the government already has a well functioning DBT scheme for cooking gas. Already there is a well functioning DBT for cooking gas. So, all that needed to be done was to just copy that. Please copy what is being done in LPG. You need not apply your brain, but the government is going in different direction. That is why he used what makes this a bigger pity. It can be easily implemented. Just copy DBT for LPG, then your job is well done. But government is going in different direction, and that is the bigger pity, right. So, if you look at in the LPG scheme, he is talking about how the subsidy is given in LPG scheme. In the LPG scheme, customers get a fixed amount of subsidy in their bank accounts. All of you are familiar with this. Directly customers will get this subsidy amount in their bank accounts, and customers pay the market price to the LPG supplier. Some LPG supplier, HP gas, suppose if he is supplying cylinder to me, if the cost is 900, I pay 900 to HP gas, and subsequently government subsidy, let us say rupees 200. Out of 900, if government is giving rupees 200, that rupees 200 will be given into my bank account. So, I pay market price, government will give me subsidy. There is no loophole. Whatever subsidy government is giving, that will directly go to the customers' bank accounts. Here there is no chance of cheating also, because almost all are Aadhaar linked, right. So, this is very easy scheme, well tested. Why the fertilizer subsidy is not being implemented on these lines, why the government is going in some other direction, that is why the article used the bigger PT. Since all purchases are done at market prices, if the cost of cylinder is 900, I will pay 900 to HP Gas. HP Gas and myself, relation is over. HP Gas will get his money, and if I am the poor person, government will pay me subsidy into my bank account, right. This is the system for LPG. There are no dues for suppliers. Suppliers means HP Gas, there are no dues. Whatever cylinders they are producing, whatever cylinders they are supplying, I am paying everything to them. Whatever government wants to give, that will later on come to my bank account. I will enjoy it later. Then the relation between the gas supplier and the households will be lost, that means will be over. Once they supply, I will pay full amount, then I will get subsidy from the government. So, here the supplier like HP Gas is not at inconvenience, because they are getting the price at market rates instantly, right. Then, and this encourages new players to enter the market as well. If the system is like this, because direct market price is paid by the customer, then new players will enter. But in the case of fertilizers, however, purchases are made based on an Aadhaar authentication of the buyer. Authentication means process of proving something to be true or genuine or valid. Authentication, Aadhaar is used for authentication. Authentication means the process of proving something to be true, genuine, valid, that is authentication. Here, based on an Aadhaar authentication of the buyer at a price which is right now 30 to 40% of the market price. If you look at the fertilizers, the market price is 30 to 40% of actual cost, 30 to 40% of actual cost. If the real cost, real manufacturing cost of urea is, let us say 1000, farmer will pay just 400. Now, with Aadhaar identification, then farmer will pay to the fertilizer company that 400 only, not the market price, that 400 only. Subsequently, that 600 subsidy will be paid by the government to the fertilizer company. So, this is different from LPG, please understand carefully. Here, based on the Aadhaar authentication of the buyer at a price which is right now 30 to 40% of the market price, the balance, that means farmer will pay this cost, this is subsidized price of 30% or 40%, remaining is subsidy. That subsidy is not coming to the farmer. Actually, this 30 to 40% cost, that means if the actual manufacturing cost of urea is rupees 1000, when government is selling at 400 only, this 400 will be paid by the farmer to the fertilizer company, and balance 600, which is a subsidy amount, will be paid by the government to the manufacturer. That is the meaning here. The balance is then credited to the supplier's account, that means fertilizer manufacturers. If this happens as soon as the sale happens, there is no difference. If this happens immediately after the sale to the supplier, or you can say fertilizer manufacturer, there is no problem. But at the beginning of the year, dues to fertilizer firms exceeded 43,000 crores. But the point here is, government, they pays immediately to the customer like you and me or farmer, but government delays the payment to the fertilizer manufacturers. Already from the government, subsidy amount to the fertilizer firms is almost rupees 43,000 crore dues pending. Government is to pay to the fertilizer companies rupees 43,000 crore, it is pending as on date, or you can say at the beginning of the year. With the fate of fertilizer companies is in the hands of government policy on dues. With the fate, what is the meaning of fate? Fate has got 3-4 meanings. I gave 3 examples, so please go through it. Here the fate is now in the hands of the jury. He was indicted in some case, and the fate, his destiny, or you can say it all depends on what the judges will say. So, the fate is now in the hands of jury. Fate has brought them together, then it is always their fate to be left behind. To give different meanings, this word fate is used, and here the fate of the fertilizer firms is in the hands of government, and it is unlikely too many new players would want to enter the market. Under these circumstances, when the destiny of the fertilizer companies is with the government as far as dues are concerned, it is most unlikely too many new players would want to enter the market, right. The next one is also in the case of LPG. If you look at LPG, he is talking about difference between LPG and fertilizer subsidy. The first difference he explained, in LPG directly the customer or consumer is getting subsidy into his bank account, but in case of fertilizer, their government will give subsidy to the fertilizer manufacturer, and government is not prompt in paying the subsidy to the fertilizer manufacturers. That is why the fate of the fertilizer manufacturing companies will be in the hands of the government. Then second difference is, in the case of LPG, there is number of cylinders everyone gets in a year. In a year, free cylinders, or you can say subsidized cylinders, are capped at I think 12 or so. The subsidy is also known, government announces subsidy. For fertilizers, all that the DBT does is to authenticate who is buying it. As per direct benefit transfer in fertilizer, in LPG there are several safeguards. One is subsidy is given to the bank account of the customer, that is one point. Second point is number of cylinders are also fixed per year. So, there are several safeguards for LPG, but if you look at the fertilizers, one drawback I have already told you. Second one is there is no cap on the amount or the subsidy. There is no cap. Cap means limit. Cap has got several meanings. This is one meaning, this is another meaning. Actually, in the economy or in any perspective, if you look at it, cap means the limit on the amount of money that can be charged. So, here the cap, the limit, in fact, there is no cap on the amount or the subsidy, since 10 to 15% of fertilizer gets diverted to other countries or to industrial uses. In a DBT scenario, when you are implementing DBT without any restriction, what is required is only authentication. Then, if there is no limit, a farmer who has just 1 acre may purchase 10 kg, 100 kg or 1000 kg and can be part of the diversion. So, here farmer unknowingly he can become part of the diversion. Then the government must come up with per acre norms of usage and fix a ceiling on how much will be eligible for a subsidy. The subsidy per kg should also be fixed in advance. So, two things, please do it. One is, if I am having 5 acres, I must be allowed to purchase particular fertilizer up to certain amount only. So, that is the first condition. Second one is, the subsidy per kg of fertilizer must be made known in advance. So, he is suggesting for making it successful. One argument against this is, since all urea is Neem-coated, Neem-coated means, please look into this, Neem-coated urea. Neem-coated urea means government made it compulsory for the entire urea to be Neem-coated. with the neem coating what will happen? Diversion to the black market will be reduced, because here the urea cannot be put into industrial use if it is neem coated. Second thing is, neem coating also releases nitrogen slowly, which ultimately helps in the fertility of the soil. So, here this results in more yields with less usage of urea. So, here the para says that experts may argue that this may prevent urea from being mixed in milk. It does not stop it from being used in plywood manufacturing. So, urea is neem coated. Here it is very difficult to stop it from being used in plywood manufacturing to the extent neem coated urea makes it better. So, here there is every possibility it may be diverted for plywood manufacturing. Then second point is, it also reinforces the case for smuggling for use in farms in neighboring countries like Nepal and Bangladesh. Here there is every possibility, because of neem coating, probably diversion to industrial use may be restricted or regulated, but it may go for plywood manufacturing. That is one aspect. And the second aspect is, it may also smuggled to Nepal and Bangladesh. Here what is the meaning of reinforce? Reinforce means to make something stronger. Reinforce, when this word is there, please understand it is to make something stronger. Indian Army has sent one more battalion to reinforce the troops in Jammu and Kashmir. At the same time, smuggling means to import or export something secretly in violation of the customs law of the land. Secretly in violation of the rules and regulations of the country, if something is imported or if something is exported, it is smuggling. So, here the fertilizer may be smuggled to Nepal and Bangladesh. Doing fertilizer subsidies the LPG way, doing fertilizer subsidies in LPG way similar to LPG has another advantage. It has got another advantage in that it empowers farmers. Farmers will be empowered. Empowerment, I have already told you, it is basically further rights, or you can say the process of giving rights or more freedom. So, this way farmer will be empowered, and China has moved to giving all input subsidies to farmers in cash. One example is, China has moved to give the input subsidies to farmers in cash. You may have a doubt what is meant by input subsidy. Input subsidy is basically it reduces the cost of inputs, and the subsidy may be in the form of seeds, fertilizers, irrigation, electricity, then credit, that means at lesser interest rates credit. So, all these things are input subsidies. In agriculture, input subsidies are required, and it makes adoption of new technologies more attractive, and at the same time it will increase the profitability or productivity. Right. So, here China is one example. It has given all input subsidies to farmers in cash. Once farmers get the subsidy in their bank accounts, they can decide how much of fertilizer they want to use and even which one. So, farmers should have liberty, farmers must be empowered. Please give input cash subsidies for fertilizers, for seeds, then for irrigation. So, for all these things, please give input cash subsidies. What is being done in China, and if they get input cash subsidies, then farmers can decide how to use and where to use, what way to use. But if the current system continues, farmers have no incentive for lower usage. If input subsidy in cash is implemented, then farmers can do better judgment in the most prudential way, he may use the various inputs required if cash subsidy is implemented. But if the current system continues, farmers have no incentive for lower usage. This is why right now there is so much overuse of urea, which also damages the soil. At present, there is lot of overuse of urea, which damages the soil. Because of the reason, farmers are getting subsidized urea. Instead of that, please give input subsidy, input cash subsidy for seeds, fertilizers, irrigation, electricity, credit. For all these things, to give input subsidy, so that the farmer will decide how to go ahead. It will encourage the farmer, it will incentivize the farmer, right. Incentive means encouraging a person. Indeed means, here indeed is used to emphasize, that is one aspect, and to add extra information also. Indeed, it is used to emphasize something. Then at the same time, indeed is used to add extra information. So, indeed, the government also needs to move to LPG style DBT for ration shops. He is talking about another aspect also. Indeed, the government also needs to move to LPG style DBT for ration shops. So, the corrupt and distorting FCI system can be ended and farmers free to grow the crop the market wants. Here why he is telling is corrupt and distorted FCI system. Here in ration shops also, this should be moved to this direct benefit transfer subsidies. Purchase food grains at market price, then get subsidy in cash from the government. So, that is what he intends to say. Indeed, the government also needs to move to LPG style DBT for ration shops. So, the corrupt and distorting FCI system, because here this Food Corporation of India, this purchases food grains like wheat and rice, and it mandatorily stocks millions of tons are stocked in its godowns, and sometimes some of these food grains will be eaten by rats. Most of these godowns are not protected properly and they will be not useful after 4 or 5 years. So, under these circumstances, if direct benefit transfer is introduced for ration shops also, then the corrupt and distorting FCI system, distort means to twist the natural or normal condition, to twist the normal condition, that is a distortion. So, here corruption and distorting FCI system, corrupt and distorting FCI system can be ended and farmers free to grow the crop the market wants, not just what the government is able to buy. At present, government is stipulating that we would like to buy this much of grains, that is wheat or rice, and if this is implemented here for ration shops also, then farmers will have freedom to grow the crops. So, several thought provoking ideas are put forth here with regard to the fertilizer subsidy, how to do it. Then second point is with regard to ration shops also, he gave one direction, and on Tuesday at 12:30 hours we will discuss on final run up to GST, today's business line editorial, please do not forget. And from Monday onwards, this live discussion will be there at 12:30 hours. 11 o'clock news at a while, 11:30 editorial discussion, 12:30 this English discussion, Monday some grammatical aspects, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday comprehensionability, Friday it will be banking awareness current affairs from 1st of April. Right friends, we will meet on Monday at 12:30 hours. Have a nice day. Thank you.